Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day. We have lived everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.
Doing what we do 3 to 4 nights a week. King Chaka ENT.
I got this.
From the
She
back
starts
seat.
shooting.
Ow!
That dude was like, ow.
What was that?
Outside the car,
That nigga
deputies'
got
body
popped.
cameras capturing the bullets flying through the air.
We got shots fired
couldn't
up
have been
here.
a straight
We need
shot. It had
backup
to be-
immediately. Start
Are you-
EMS. Start EMS.
What
We got
the
a civilian. We got a civilian hit.
The deputy.
Looks like we got us another hit.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. This is copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. More information on fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use: purpose and character of the use, including whether the use of the commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes, nature of the copyrighted work, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Okay, so anything I use for you guys, hit me up if you want me to remove it, edit it, or whatever. Nothing is used to infringe on anybody's intellectual property. I don't intend on doing that, and I don't intend on profiting from anyone's intellectual property. So I'm glad to edit or delete anything that's any of my videos that I've used of anybody. So that's it. Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whacked and are not necessarily the views of anyone. Bend the knee more. That's the name of it today. I'm trying a new little setup here. We're gonna see how this goes. Bend the knee more. I don't know. I'm on a spirituality tip this week. And I was just thinking about, bend the knee. And it's like the world that we live in, and it's like it's all about control, you know, in my mind anyways. So then when I see it, and then it's like it's like how when they say think outside of the box, and then they say not like that. So it's like when you submit and you bend the knee, you know, that sometimes that's still not good enough still. Like they need you to bend the knee more, submit more, submit better. You know, it needs to be a competition on the submission. Who can do it better? Let's go. Who can do it faster and with more sense of urgency? I don't know. This is me being crazy, I think. Bend the knee more. I'm going to come back to it. How y'all feel? I'm trying to do this new little setup here and see how this works out. Can I play this? Can I play that? Let me see. Oh, shit, y'all. I'm tripping. Different setup. Got me tripping.
You know, that's skin be thick. I'm talking niggas be built for it tough. But the fucked up part about the ghetto is that, you know, it teach you really not to have feelings. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit, I meant to play that whole clip. And I'm tripping.
Motherfuckers. You know, that's skin be thick. I'm talking niggas be built for it tough. But the fucked up part about the ghetto is that, you know, it teach you really not to have feelings. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Don't feel
From
shit,
day
man.
one, you fall off the swing. Stop crying.
Yep,
What you crying for?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Know.
So when you get older and you get in vulnerable situations, you don't even want to talk to a motherfucker because you never want to feel vulnerable. Right. You never want to feel weak. You never want to, because since you was 2 years old, it's stop crying. Like you can't be emotional. You can't show emotions. You can't, you know what I mean? You try to show emotions in the hood, man, nigga a bitch, man. You look weak. Like the hood make fun of shit that we ain't supposed to be making fun of. Look at this nigga going to college, you know, trying to be smart ass nigga. Like, wait, for what? So you can't even be vulnerable in the hood. So when you grow up like that and you have issues and you can't even talk to motherfuckers and you got to keep all that shit boggled in, that's fucked up.
But then the flip side of that is those be the ones who make it because they have thick skin and they get all this power, this money.
Got them issues. Right. Still got all them skeletons in the
closet. Ain't nothing changed because you
ghetto raised some extraordinary motherfuckers. You know, that skin be thick. I'm talking niggas be built for it tough. But the fucked up part about the ghetto is that.
Yeah. Goddess Ayana, she's been on this tip lately about like men getting their feelings out and stuff. This is her post right here. Her caption, it says, if we raise our boys to think sadness is weakness, then how do we help heal our men who have suppressed theirs? So I think she's making a really good point on this. And it's something that we don't really talk about nearly enough. So it's a really great topic. And I also think that it's a big part of what's happening in the world right now, you know, in the politics. It's being manifested in the politics where it's just kind of like this suppression of feelings, this like, you know, not having an outlet or a proper way to be able to express their feelings. And it's coming out as this horrible ass politics, this hateful ass politics, but it's really just coming from a hurt place, a lonely place. Let me read a comment. It says, facts. Our people glorify the things that detrimental to them and make fun of what we really need. Sad truth. Another comment, it says, emotions are an essential part of humanity in general and masculinity in particular. I just don't think that vulnerability and sadness needs to be expressed in front of women, especially our women, and should be done so with our peers. In terms of our boys, I believe that it's okay for them to be sad and express sadness, but in a healthy and appropriate manner and context. See, you, whoever you are, you're one of the ones that's perpetuating this, you know. You're saying it's okay for them to express their emotions, but not in front of women. So, okay, what are you saying then? You're basically saying that it's not okay for them to express their emotions. They can only do it around other men. And the boys can do it, she said, or he said, in a healthy, appropriate manner and context. What the hell does that mean? See, that's what it is right there. That's how it begins. That's how it starts. That's how it's perpetuated. Let me read this one. It says, this is like asking, if your parents beat you as a kid and now you beat your kids, how do I get you to see that there are more effective ways to discipline your children? Many are stuck like this for good and still are conditioned to see emotional expression as vulnerability. Yeah. Another comment, it says, this is a fact and emotional intelligence is essential to mastering self. If you can't first acknowledge and logically address your emotions, how can you ever be able to control your reactions when you are in an emotional state of mind? How are you considered a warrior without emotional intelligence? Wait, so here goes another comment that sounds like it's pretty much perpetuating it again. He says, this is a fact and emotional intelligence is essential to mastering self. So are you saying, what are you saying? And then he says, if you can't first acknowledge and logically address your emotions, how can you ever be able to control your reactions when you're in an emotional state of mind? How are you considered a warrior without emotional intelligence? So you're saying the same thing. You're saying that dudes should not express their emotions. They should suppress them, because how else are they going to be a warrior? I get where you guys are coming from with this. I just don't agree. And that's why we're in the state that we're in, because we haven't found healthy ways to express our emotions, especially men. Women too. It's rampant in the society. And that's the reason why people are just like acting out. They don't know how to. We're stuck in the zombie robot. And then it's like you're supposed to act this way in certain situations. Like you're supposed to be jealous. Like you're supposed to, act emotional in a jealous situation. Those are one of the situations where it's acceptable. So it's our society that decides where it's okay for you to be emotional when it's not, And people be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have cheated on her or whatever. Like, but damn, she just killed me. I'm dead. But our society is like, well, hey, do the time, do the crime, do the time. What I'm saying is us not being able to deal with our emotions in healthy ways is what leads to these type of outcomes. We need to be able to express our feelings and how we feel about things, because we're not robots and we go through our life robotically, go to work, go home, watch the TV show, take a bath, brush your teeth, eat dinner, get up in the morning, do it all over again. Most of us have, at our job, we do like a job that's mundane and repetitive. And we just feel like, we feel like that, you're a robot. It's like, I need a chance to, but you don't have any healthy ways to do it.
Afternoon on the 405 freeway to get up there with signs, banners, and say Kanye was right while they're Nazi saluting. know how miserable your life has to be to spend it on a freeway bridge on a gorgeous full Saturday afternoon in Southern California with an arts and craft project? You went out there with some arts and craft shit with your banner. Like, you got nothing better to do. You don't want to play pickleball, basketball. You don't want Netflix and chill. Go get yourself an In-N-Out burger. Go get some sun at the beach. That's what you want to do? That's how you want to spend your Saturday afternoon? On a beautiful Saturday afternoon on the 405 freeway to get up there with signs, banners, and say Kanye was right while they're Nazi saluting. You know how miserable your life has to be to spend it on a freeway bridge on a gorgeous full Saturday afternoon?
I don't know, man. I would have to say Rappaport's his bias is showing there. I mean, but he's doing what he does. He's a comedian, and he's got this podcast show now. He's got to produce content. So, he's the guy you love to hate on the internet. Well, at least I think that's what he's, framing himself as. That's his shtick. So, but like, I don't agree with the comments because it's like, I saw some of those banners and the people on the freeways or whatever. Kanye was right. I don't know about the Nazi saluting part. I don't know that I saw that. But that could be the case, and I just didn't see it. But he was talking about the Jews, so it's just, the thing is, it just shows that you can't talk about them. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. It's not, it's a no-go. You can criticize a lot of segments of our community, but that's one that you can't. Let me read his caption. He says, "There's so many other things to do on Gorgeous Saturday in California. What did you do this Saturday besides hang out on a bridge on 405? ... Okay, in this picture, it does show them doing it, so I don't know. They could have spliced that, though. Hey, I'm not no freaking SS supporter or no fucking Nazi supporter, so please don't think that. But I think you could say Kanye was right about something without being a Nazi. Our society is boiled down to two, you're either a Nazi or not a Nazi or whatever. Like, there's like...
Which is not...
It's like you either... I don't know. I'm not explaining.
Heard of. Because when certain...
I'm not explaining that right, but...
things like that happen, most people... Me and Tyler has always...
Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to go to the post. All right.
Tyler has always been great. I felt like after I had a certain person on my show, we even got tighter, which is not heard of, because when certain things like that happen, most people you separate.
I was with Tyler.
Okay.
When that Drink Champs came out.
Okay, so I had to warn them. Me and EFN called each other, or I called you, or you called me, or whatever. We called each other, and we said we can't let this come out without us telling. Hold on, stay right there. Without telling Tyler first. So I would like to ask y'all, where was y'all at when y'all first heard Kanye say?
This was not the Kennedy assassination, first of all. Where were you? I'll never forget it. I was eating mashed potatoes when it came across the wire. Shots fired. But we were together. We were in Denver.
Yeah, we were in Denver. And what happened in Denver? Because y'all getting high.
Look. No. The only reason we're even smoking and drinking and entertaining this tomfoolery is because we're on a show called Drink Champs.
That's right. All my fault. That's right. That's right.
What do you mean drink champs? Nigga, I'm standing next to the drink champ. Nobody's fucking with him.
So y'all in Denver, and what happens?
I don't remember. Listen. Pop culture is a desert right now. And your show is an anomaly. And that Kanye West interview you did was one of my favorite things that I've seen in all of pop culture in recent history. Sincerely.
Thank you, Jay.
I fuck with Kanye,
right.
But man, I ain't seen him like that in a minute. Right. It was funny.
Right.
It was engaging. Mm-hmm. And then this nigga had to go in on Kweli's hat.
On his hat, you said? On his hat?
He went on Kweli's hat.
Yeah, I forgot about his hat.
He said something about Kweli making baseball hats popular now. Ain't no disrespect, nigga. I laughed.
I would like to. Me and Talib has always been great. I felt like
that was a free Dave Chappelle joke. Like it was set up exactly how he does his jokes. Like I don't know if he was freestyling that or if it was written, but in all of his shows, what are they written or are they freestyling? Ooh, that's a question. I'm sure it's written, but that was funny though. Like, you know, anyways, I just wanted to play that because I thought that was funny. You never see Talib Kweli without a hat. And freaking, this is Cons TV posted this, so let's get into the mess of it a little bit. You know what? No, I'm not gonna cover that. But anyways, they doing what the internet do. I'm not gonna cover that. Freaking man, my daughter is sick. I think she got me.
They do have, actually, if you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately, well, they will take a student, look at their race, say, okay, you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed. And think about what that does to a 6 or 7 year old kid. That's wrong. You're seeing that. You have people that are teaching, and actually his running mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land. That is inappropriate for our schools. It's not true. And I'm happy. Actually, if you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately, well, they will take a student, look at their race, say, okay, you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed. And think about what that does to a 6 or 7 year old.
I don't think they do that anywhere.
You have people that are teaching, and actually his running mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land. That is inappropriate.
It's inappropriate, but I don't know. That's a really sensitive topic, right? But that's what happens to, like what I was saying in the other show, is like the truth hurts, right? Like, man, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I don't think that, you know, we can move forward properly without addressing the past properly. You know what I mean? We can't go forward on a lie. That's the reason why shit is a mess. You know, and that's the reason why people are so confused and these like bubbling up tensions that seems like they're coming from nowhere. Where they're coming from that. They're coming from these unresolved issues that people have with things that don't make sense. And it don't make sense to them because they haven't been given the story. The past, what happened before is how we got here every time. Like, let me read the, let me see. Was it good? I can't remember. He says, this is the caption. Hold on, let me put the caption. It says, throw all capitalist politicians away. The first part I agree with. Not all Caucasian folk are oppressors, and those that know they aren't fight the fight that the freedom fighters fight for. But the ones that sit back and do nothing, and the ones that fight in the name of oppression, are the ones I speak against. How was this land obtained by Europeans? It surely wasn't peaceful transfer, and the native Indians and native Africans that were here lived peacefully prior to European invasion. You're delusional, sir. F out of here. This is why I say don't vote for either party. Do not participate in your own demise. Okay, that was his caption. That wasn't my words, y'all.
Well, look, hello.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Well, there's some things that I'm still learning about our history that probably lines up a little more. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna say it was like a peaceful transfer, totally, but there was a lot of things that happened very civilly and more like a lease or giving them a time period which they were able to keep re-signing, or by people not rejecting them out at a certain time, that they were able to continue a lease for another period, which was like 50 years at a time. So there was some things that, you know, I'm still trying to get to understand, but like to some extent, what he's saying is not a lie. So that's why, you know, it's really hard. Like one of the biggest problems is that you don't know the difference between the truth and a lie anymore, because like they lied so much. Their predecessors thought it was a good idea to lie, but now in an age of information and truth and, you know, positionings like this, like it's harder for them to be able to refute any of the things that, you know, because a lot of them really do know the truth. Like, I mean, history and law goes hand in hand. So when, you know, you understand certain things and different laws came about because of certain marks of history, like you understand it based on those things. And by us being lied to for so long, it's kind of hard for us to, you know, even those who have studied, to really know the truth, because there's different versions of the truth, all, you know, on from every different demographic. You know, so I mean, it's really tough to really even say, because I think to some extent he is right, but I think there was still some, because I mean, by you not knowing the whole story, or like even how a lot of this stuff began, like them even having the right to come to this side of the world, if you don't understand that part, like you don't understand the rest of it. So
Yeah.
we all do need to do a better job at trying to understand, because we're not victims totally,
And the
especially not
part
all of us.
and the part where the guy in the caption, the guy said they were peaceful until the Europeans came over. That's not really. They
That's not
lived
true either.
peacefully prior to you. He said they lived peacefully prior to European invasion. No,
That's
no.
not true, because the same kind of tribalism that we're dealing with now, we dealt with then, but it became a different animal when we were, you know, these, you know, foreigners come in, and, you know, for somehow they, you know, they got the right to do this, and like nobody says anything about that. A bunch of my people are dying just because some people just, you know, because for some people it probably felt like it was you know, a harsh takeover, or, you know, all these things that they weren't used to, but it was also powers above them and people that worked totally, you know, that was supposed to be their friends or family, that, you know, made decisions that went against what they had lived, how they had lived for centuries and millennia before then. So like I said, there's a lot to try to, you know, figure out and explain, but there's always, you know, this side, that side, and then the truth, because I mean, all of it kind of coexists at the same time.
Yeah. I kind of want to mosey around to it, but I can't help it. Freaking. Anyways, let me go to. Shit, bro. I'm tripping on this because I got this thing different and it's got me all messed up. But oh yeah, this one right here. It says Jesus really did end up on the cross.
Yeah. Did you see the statue?
They said one of it. They took it down. It was like I didn't know he had a statue.
There's a statue of him that's in L.A. or I don't know if they took it down now or whatever, but
I think I saw something that said that they was taking it down.
What's the best way for me to send something to you? Now y'all go ahead. Huh?
If it's YouTube, you could text it to me. That's fine. But if
I'm not sure what I want. That's why I'm just sitting here like this. All right, y'all give me a second.
I wanted to play this anyways. Let me see.
Defend them with all the truth that you know. Defend your people. Even in their apparent wrong, I say, defend your people. Never take the white man's side. Never take the white man's side against your people. Never take his side. Defend your people.
That's one of those clips that people are playing because Kanye, man, has really sparked up some shit, man. And it's weird how the people that's aligned with Kanye. So earlier I played the clip of the guy. He said it was Nazis and saying Kanye was right or whatever. You got the Republicans love him, and the black community is
angry with him, which is crazy to me. Like, you know, I was just listening to somebody before you, you know, I got the message that we was going live. I was listening to another podcast, Tariq Nasheed, and like, I don't know, for some reason, I'm leaning more to he is an agent. Like, he's like, I don't know, just the way he's talking, but you know, he's not tapped in to like really consciousness, but you know, like as to the level in which, you know, some of us understand it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just that's my, I can't say for sure what he is or what he's not, but I don't really trust him so much. But overall, I think that people, you know, for the way that black people are really taking a lot of this, it's insane to me, because they're not really seeing multiple angles. Because a lot of people, oh well, he's getting, you know, because a lot of them is really making it about the money. God bless you. Yeah, it seems like the black people are making it more about the money. Oh, they're canceling him, and he's this and he's that and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, to me it seems like he's canceled them first.
You know, that's a flip on this, because I saw a post, they were talking about that, and that because Kanye said he wanted out of his contracts, and on when he came out on that TV show a while ago, he was saying that, you know, what's his name was right, Sway was right, that he should have done it on his own from the beginning, the whole thing. Okay. And then he said he wanted out of his contracts, and you know, look at it now. You know, I mean, this may have been his plan, because they cut all those contracts. They all cut their contracts with him, so he's gonna have to do it on his own.
Well, listen. You have to ask yourself. Because I mean, a lot of these people who did these deals with him, yeah, I'm gonna stick around. Yeah, I'm you know, you know, all these people that he's done deals with, you know, I think he has definitely exposed them, because everything that he said that they do and will do, they're doing. And you have to also look at the fact that, like, who actually loses the most, because like,
yeah, I saw the numbers. Freaking Adidas gonna lose like 300 million, some shit. Yeah. That's what Adidas gonna lose. And
that's just them. Balenciaga, I don't know if there's any numbers really on that, but I mean, regardless, let me go fill her up. Yeah. There's so many different things that's like it,
and that's like 1 year. So that's 1 year. So 1 year revenue. So they expecting that for years to come. But you know what? One thing about it though, that they own his designs. They own the designs of it, so they own the rights of it.
No, they are the ones that's breaking the contract.
So he would have to sue
So
them though
he, yeah,
if
he
they
could,
sell those shoes, because that's what they're saying. They're saying they're gonna sell them and just take the Yeezy name off of it.
well, I don't know if that's, I mean, okay. But at the same time, I mean, you know, we're talking about a company that had no relevance until he
That's
came
what.
and gave them some.
That's another part of this, because I was reading that too, because Adidas was struggling.
I'm still
And
struggling. Like Master P was talking about buying him, and Master P ain't rich. Master P, I mean, you know, he's got money, but you know, but he's trying to get other people to come in. Hey man, come on, you know, let me get $1 million from you. Let me get $500,000 from you. You know what I'm saying? Like he trying to get. If Kanye wanted, he could go ahead and buy it flat out on his own.
I don't know if he got the liquid cash for that. And then with his banking transaction issues, and it's a lot going on. He just bought Parlor. You know, a lot of it has to do with what you have liquid cash.
Well,
You know,
well, I hear you, but you know, I think that even like because they're talking about, you know, after the cancellation of these deals that, you know, he's only really worth about 400,000. No dairy. I should have told him. I don't. Oh yeah, it's gonna be cheese on that, but I don't really drink. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different. There's so many different angles to it that, you know, if it depends on, you know, really your you know, your point of view. Because I mean, one thing that Tariq said that is true is that a lot of people, you know, they don't have the financial brain to really be able to tell somebody who's a billionaire or you know, hundreds of millions, whatever the real value he, you know, liquid, however valuable he really is, to be able to make those type of decisions, because they're, you know, they have no idea what it's like to have that kind of money. But at the same time, I mean, if we're putting value on your dollar amount, like that's a part of the problem that we have already. Like, I mean, yes, I mean, do we all need money? Of course. But when every decision we make is based on money, that's where we fuck up.
yeah.
So, I mean, you know, but as far as the conversation has been going, all, you know, especially what I've been you know, because not everybody, because there's some people who really can see the genius of it and the possibilities of it, because there's some things that's still kind of controversial. But you know, I'm reminded he's a Gemini. He lives in two different polarities at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's some conflicting sides to it, but has put himself on the cross. He has, you know, said the whole Christ energy thing that I was talking about over the weekend, like you know, it still is true and relevant. Like there's a lot of things that when you really put it into perspective, like, you know, people don't expect it to come the way it is. You know, like everybody's got this grandiose idea of what that's supposed to look like, but when you really put it all together, he's the only person that's willing to lay it all on the line for, you know, the change that's necessary in this part of in this lifetime, you know, at this time of our lives. So I don't see any of them doing any of that, you know, regardless. You know, it's not Hove ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of the machine. You know, he's oh, thank you. Yeah, he's like he's falling right, like whatever, you know, if it makes them angry or whatever, you know, he's not gonna do it, you know, which Okay, some people might say that's tactful, but I mean, does he really have any plan to really change anything for the average person? Or are we really looking at a lot of classism where, he's trying to keep his position for himself and his children, as the ages go on? It looks like Kanye, like I said, I mean, it looks like Kanye is the only one that's willing to put it on the line. So
Well, he's definitely on the line. Let me play this clip right here.
Or sexuality. Suck my fuck. That's my post. If you don't like somebody because of their race, creed, sexuality, or any other wacky reason, suck. Now that might get you suspended on Instagram. If you post that, you might get suspended. Trust me, I know. Here's what I think the post should be. The post should be, if you don't like black people, you don't like Jewish people, you don't like Asian people, you don't like gay people, trans people, non-binary people, you don't like the Hispanics, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Latins, the Nigerians, the Nairobians, I'm leaving a bunch of you out. If you don't like anybody because of their race, religion, or sexuality, suck my fuck. That's my post. If you don't like...
Okay, Michael Rappaport.
Okay, I have no idea what angle he's trying to go at, but I mean, this is the problem I have with people like this, is that people actually listen to him. For whatever reason, but being able to control the narrative is one of the things. Like, this is something that Kanye has been talking about, is, like, they can, get on, they can try to control the narrative. Like I said, I mean, the whole idea that, they have canceled him, like, I know that was one of the hardest things for them to say, is they gonna cancel their contract with him. But the TV is telling everybody that, Kanye's the loser, he's this and he's that and blah blah blah. Shit, Adidas was not. Anyhow, okay, you know what, Rappaport, I agree with you. I'm the same. I feel the exact same way as you, but I don't trust you, because you're a flip flopper and you say this and it's, yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Here's that one. Let me play this.
I don't like it, and I think it's racist against this cancel Kanye culture is whack. I don't like it, and I think it's racist against us as a whole. Now, when Kanye was making his backward statements against George Floyd and how he died, which were supportive of police brutality, Adidas said nothing. This cancel Kanye culture is whack.
So it's like, what he's saying is, Adidas didn't say nothing before. He said something about
trying to, but I'm on. I'm sorry. Hold on.
He said something about the Jewish people, and now Adidas is like, nah, you went too far. You've gone too far. I want to go into this polling thing right here, but I'm having trouble going to this page. Freaking, what page is it? Am I just gonna look it up? Brave New Films. They post a lot. Damn. Wait, here it is. It says Arizona voters have reported being filmed and harassed by armed and masked vigilantes while trying to cast ballots at drop boxes. This is just the beginning. Every instance of voter intimidation must be reported. The election hotline is ...
Originally, I'm from Louisiana, but I live right around Austin, Round Rock, Texas.
I thought this post had more on it about it, but because I saw that somewhere more about that topic, and it has some clips. Whatever. We're gonna get it together, y'all. I think I'm gonna just go into the spirituality stuff because that's what I wanted to talk about, and I'll just kind of in. So it says, hold on, is this the other part of the Kanye part? Foot Locker instructed all of its stores to remove pairs of Yeezys from their sales floors, according to email. Where's the one? This is irritating me. I'm finna get out of this. I don't know why I'm having this trouble. Anyways, freaking Mata Baraku. He got a strong Jamaican accent, so it's kind of hard to understand him. I mean, I understand him, but I think for a lot of people it will be hard. The polls are looking like the Dems are not. It's not looking good for the Dems in the polls. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to talk about diamonds.
What about diamonds?
You know the word, that freaking song, that Rihanna song, "Shine Like a Diamond." And it's always kind of creepy, right? That song is kind of like, and then when you listen to the lyrics, it doesn't sound like she's talking about what she's talking about. You know what I mean? And that song always made me uneasy a little bit. Like, I like the song a lot. I love it. Do not get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, I was always like, what the hell is she saying in this damn song? Because she's not saying what it seems like she's saying. And, you know, that's what got me to digging. So then it's like demon. But it's not demon in the sense of how we think of it. It's more of like one that could do good or bad, you know. It's not, it's, what do you call it, malevolent or whatever. It can do both. It's not like just a bad guy, but it's like a spirit. Are you following me?
I'm here. I missed some of it.
I have this explained because I'm not doing a good job of explaining it.
I heard partially of what you said, and like that, I'm lost.
Okay, I got it right here. Here's it. Let me play this clip. Oh, am I sharing? I'm not sharing, huh? Fuck. Am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing.
What are you trying to share?
Video. I'm kind of out of whack because I'm changed up my setup, trying to do it different. So I'm a little out of whack tonight.
I see you sponsor. You got a new sponsor now.
No. Oh, you talking about Adidas? Because we was talking about Adidas. Whatever.
You drop. They done dropped Kanye, so now you trying to get the job.
Shit. I'll take that 341 million. All right. Y'all listen to this.
Doesn't really correspond to the way that the ancients conceived of these beings. The idea of demons as an exclusively evil creature associated with the devil that is out to hurt or possess humans is one that very much develops with the writers of early Christianity. Ancient people in pre-Christian times had a rather different conception of demons. The word itself, demon, comes from the Greek term daimon, and a daimon in ancient Greece was a much more ambivalent creature.
There. That's it. Did y'all hear that?
and then they changed the A and the I and the D. So I mean, I'm still trying to understand, how does that link up with the actual physical diamond?
It doesn't.
Because I mean, I know the frequency exists together, because it's the same sound. But
No, it does. I mean, I don't know about that part, but no, it doesn't. It just, I mean, like, it's kind of like cognates in different languages, how one word is, maybe it is the same and pronounced the same, but it has a totally different meaning in a different language. You know what I'm saying?
Connotative linguistic.
Yeah, so that's the play on words that, of course, a musician is gonna catch a hold to, because musicians are poets, and that's what you do. You like to play with the words like that. So that's what it is. So, but that's what I was saying. This is where it comes from, though, and I think that's what she was talking about. Let me play a little bit more.
Basically, a daimon was a spiritual being that stood in between the gods and humans. The gods were, of course, the highest beings in existence, and us humans are lower physical creatures. And in ancient writers such as Plato, the daimons fit right in between. They are spiritual beings that are more powerful than humans, but not quite gods. As such, they often acted as intermediaries between the two realms and could serve as positive inspiration or as cause for trouble. Daimons were neither good nor evil. They were both good daimons and evil daimons. So while the idea of evil daimons did technically exist, that was only one category of this elusive being, and would thus have a slightly more complex perspective here. The situation in ancient Mesopotamia was basically the same. Demons could be both good or evil with different personalities. It's not that any given demon was either good or bad definitively, but they could do good or evil things. Their nature wasn't set in stone, but had personalities and emotions just like other creatures. Obviously, the Mesopotamians didn't use the Greek word daimon, especially not in pre-Hellenic times. Instead, the Sumerian word udug, or the equivalent Akkadian utuku, was used to refer roughly to our concept of demon today, or rather the ancient Greek concept of demons, as long as we understand that translating it as demon is a compromise, and that we should keep in mind that this is referring to a much broader category of beings rather than the Christian evil creatures that we associate with the term today.
Okay. What do you think? This is really interesting right here. I'm trying to see if there's some comments on here that's worth a crap, but at the moment I don't see any. They're just saying fantastic video. Here's one. It says the similarities for comparison are rich in this presentation. Such a useful project. Thank you for the contributions. The exorcism of ghosts in Chinese and Tibetan traditions sounds the same. Ashipu seems interesting, and I wonder what kind of literal meaning can be derived rather than merely identifying the social position. I'm wondering what's the link it might have to Ashur, thus Ashur Estetian Norse as gods. This is way too long. I'm not reading all that. It's interesting, though. You know what? He says, Snorri recognizes the Dr are the priests, like Di as Chinese emperors. D is also tied to the Tai or Duis, derived from Dingir as god from form of energy surrounding divine presence. Anu seems tied to the Ansus as Holy Spirit, as Taiwas is the Father Sky God from an elusive formless consistency that is Yang incorporated in absolute subtlety. This can also be tied to Dingir in phonetic context in cuneiform. Therefore, the Deva Ashura schism in Hindu Iranian cultures may be recognized in light of Abrahamic aversion to idolatry. This aversion has a context where the Mesopotamian imperial complex power was invested in idols. Who own the idols own the temple wealth accumulation. When your idol cannot be stolen, neither can your wealth be removed for long. I also wonder about Vanir relationship being like gods and demons and are divine spirits of the minds of heavens, whereas Vanir wagons are more related to material realms. These beings in material realms are still spiritual, but can manifest in more interest in human endeavors, therefore closer to humans than the gods. Of course, this is a form where I think saint cults evolved. That was a long comment. I had to read it. I'm sorry, y'all. This topic is super interesting to me. This video is talking about, the name of the video is Demons in Ancient Mesopotamia. He doesn't have a caption. No, he just has his sources. So it's interesting because a lot of this stuff is what leads to what we do today. And a lot of things that we do today goes back to this stuff. So it's like, even within the religions or without the religions, like he described so much stuff in here where it was like ancient Mesopotamia, but I was like, we do like almost the same thing, the same kind of stuff today when it comes to like our spiritual practices and stuff like that. Am I losing y'all? Let me play some more then.
So what were these demons? Well, the demons were everywhere, and they were seen as the cause behind all kinds of different issues, both personal and larger societal issues. It was demons that caused illnesses, both mental and physical. It was demons that could cause strife in general in society. It could affect the crops in the fields. Demons that did evil things, which some demons did, was a problem to the ancient Mesopotamians, and they were feared. And there developed ways for humans to control and get rid of these creatures, as we will see soon. To understand more how they worked, I think it's probably useful to take some particular examples. So demons could be very ambiguous creatures that could take on different forms or no form at all, but there are certain famous demon personalities that had certain characteristics and personalities and were associated with certain things. One of the most famous of these demons was Lamashtu, a frightening female demon that was primarily seen as a great danger to children and newborn babies. Indeed, the thing she was most feared for was that she would stalk mothers and eat their babies, either before or after birth.
Ugh.
In other words, she's definitely a demon that represents the dangers of childbirth and the possibilities of miscarriage. If a mother has a miscarriage, the baby is stillborn, or the mother doesn't survive the birth, this is the work of Lamashtu, quite an unpleasant creature. These frightening characteristics and features can also be seen from depictions of her, as she is often portrayed with a lion's head and taloned hands.
Like as humans, we always rationalize things, and especially if it's something that we can't understand, or it's like feel like we didn't do anything wrong, and it was just like, why did this happen? Then we use stuff like this to make us feel better about it. Like this is our way to get through it.
Clutching snakes and nursing a piglet. The theme of motherhood is present here, but in a kind of twisted way. The origins of this demon is uncertain, but one of the names by which she is known is as the daughter of Anu, Anu being the chief god in the Mesopotamian pantheon. In other words, it seems like Lamashtu originally came from the world of gods, perhaps a goddess herself, but that she somehow fell from that position to instead inhabit the world as an evil demon. Obviously, this was the kind of demon that people wanted to get rid of, and there were many techniques and rituals aimed at doing exactly this, complex incantations that would drive her off. Connected to this, another very famous and well-known demon in this context is Pazuzu. Indeed, he is perhaps best remembered as the demon from the 1973 movie The Exorcist, in which he basically plays the role of the villain. This is quite interesting because while Pazuzu certainly has a frightening appearance, and some incantations do describe him as the king of the evil wind demons, he was mostly used as a protective spirit, particularly against Lamashtu. Pazuzu really looks like a monster. He has the head of a beast with long claws and 4 wings, but the figure of this demon would be employed as protection. His head would often be worn by pregnant women to keep Lamashtu away from their unborn child, and a statue of him could be kept in the house or used in rituals for the same reason.
So whenever you see this, it's really, they're using it for protection.
Quite the opposite of his role in The Exorcist, in other words. Aside from these 2 prominent characters, we also have other more ambiguous kinds of demons or creatures that roam the lands of Mesopotamia. There was, for example, the so-called Liliths, or Lilitu, female spirits of women who died in childbirth that could roam around, as well as the similar Ardat Lili, ghosts of young women who had died unmarried that now drifted with the wind from the hills and haunted men at night. Many have, of course, connected these Liliths, the etymology of which means something like a female spirit or demon, with the figure of Lilith in the Bible, sometimes conceived of as the first wife of Adam. Etymologically, there's probably a connection, and it's another example of the influence of Mesopotamian mythology on the books of the Bible. Again, to protect themselves against all these malevolent forces, the Mesopotamians used various techniques of what we could call magic. Just like in the later Islamic world, basically all magic or occult practices had a protective purpose. It sought the help from God or gods from evil forces and their influence, either to eradicate an already existing problem or to prevent something bad from happening to begin with. There are examples of non-protective magic too, though, and the most famous and prominent example of this is the witch. Yes, there were witches in ancient Mesopotamia too. Gina Konstantopoulos writes that the witch is, quote, perhaps best rendered as malevolent magic user. Known as Kashaptu in Akkadian, witches were evil cosmic beings similar to demons that used magic to do evil rather than for protective reasons. They could hurt or curse people and could be both male and female, even though the female version is definitely overrepresented. In other words, while magic could be used for good or evil, the Kashaptu or witch represented the malevolent use of magic and something that one needed to be protected from. So now that we have a kind of general overview of some of the creatures and evil spirits that roam the lands of ancient Mesopotamia, what can we say about the actual practices used to ward off these forces? I mentioned earlier that there existed various rituals and protective ways that one would counter these evil forces or get rid of them or at least control them in some way. And this included fascinating things, everything from incantations, protective amulets, exorcisms, and various other juicy things. It's definitely true that the Mesopotamians had developed systems of occult protective rituals. Indeed, a lot of such traditions that we find in other places later in history, such as in the Greek magical papyri or in Egyptian and Roman magic, may actually originate in places like Babylonia and Assyria.
Anyways, I know I'm probably killing y'all with this. He was about to get into the that I wanted y'all to hear, but I don't want to kill y'all with this, and I don't know where it is in here. But it's like the stuff that we do when we're going through extreme times, you know, when we're stressed out, like when we're sick. That's one of the things he was talking about. It's like the person that comes over and does the exorcisms also knows, like, he's also like the doctor too, like can figure out what's wrong with you, what's making you sick. That's the part I wanted to play. I don't know where the hell that is.
I had to step out for a minute, but I'm back.
Okay, wait. Hold on, I think I found it. Let me play this one more clip.
Baby from the child-eating Lamashtu. In that case, you could simply call an Ashipu who would come and solve your
Same here.
problem.
You have a good
He
night. Y'all
would,
be safe.
and it is mostly he in these cases, show up to your house and make an assessment of what needed to be done. Since ghosts and demons were
y'all.
such a taken for granted part of everyday life, the vibe here is kind of similar to people today calling for a doctor to help with a medical problem. You got a demon problem? Just call your local Ashipu and he will help you out. And indeed, in this culture, the doctor was kind of the same person as the exorcist, since the Ashipu could also have medical knowledge. Once the demon was identified or the Ashipu knew what needed to be done, he would get to work, gathering all the materials that were required for the ritual before it would commence. We've already mentioned some of the details of the kinds of...
So you call a person over, and then they come, and then they assess the situation, and then they decide on what needs to be done, and then they go and get whatever materials they need to do to make it better, right? So it's, what I mean is that's kind of like how we still do stuff to this day in a lot of ways. Like, you ever had somebody want to make some chicken feet soup for you? Something like that?
Never.
Really?
Chicken foot soup?
Yeah.
Nah, that's like, I mean, as much as you know, my family's from the country, and you know, all of the like the old traditions and stuff we have, like that's like too witchy. Like that's like nobody, like we too bougie for that.
Yeah. So, well, I'm sure it's something like that, you know, like you're sick and it's like the grandma comes over and makes something.
No, grandma, like look, they want the whole chicken, like, what, chicken foot soup? Like, no, man. I mean, no, and see, and that's well, I mean, for my family, like, I don't think we, you know, like we've ever really been considered to be poor. Like, no matter how broke down or how, you know, like poor we supposedly were, we were the rich ones of the poor.
Yeah, but this didn't have nothing. These things don't have nothing to do with money. Like, they use. Yeah, they specific. They have specific ingredients that they. You never heard of it? Nothing like that before.
No, I mean, that sounds too much like something that was told in a story instead of like actuality. Like, you know, you know, some kind of witch's brew, and you like chicken foot.
No, it's a real thing.
No, I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, that's just like, I mean, if we're gonna make a stew or something, it's gonna be some real chicken in there, not no damn foots.
Yeah, but it's the special ingredients that they use for, like, it is kind of like a ritual, but you know, it's to make you feel better or whatever, you know.
I guess
that's what it's
like
about.
I said, I haven't heard of it. Like, I mean, you know, I mean, I've just never heard of it. So, I mean,
yeah, I was just making the comparison with how they do it, and we were showing the video of the Mesopotamians and how they dealt with things, and like the exorcist was also a doctor. You know, he comes over and figures out, it's like, oh, he might say you got a demon, you know, and y'all got to do this or that, you know, or he might just say, you know, you sick, you just need to let me make this soup for you so you can sweat it out.
yeah. No, I mean, you know, I've had people make soup for me, but not to the extent of that. Like, I mean, should I get vegetable soup? You know, sure, you may have had some at my house before, but yeah, no.
Yeah, that's cool. It's the spiritual shit is kind of what I'm on right now. You know, the Christ energy conversation in the chat was interesting.
Yeah, you know, I kind of enjoyed like being able to put that in words, because I mean, I've never done that before, and like actually can read it, and you know, like I've had those thoughts jumbling around in my mind, and like when I was asked to do that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, but I didn't want to just put anything, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of had to gather my thoughts, scratch some stuff out, and put it, you know what I'm saying? And I thought it was too short, but you know, but yeah, I think that's a good conversation. I mean, a lot of people don't, really understand it that way because I think that, because I mean, honestly, like I guess I was really saving this idea for the conversation about what was happening in Africa. Um, the whole idea of, the video that I saw, because I don't know, was this something that you talked about last week? You know, because I know you sent the video. It's been a while since I've seen it. So, but the whole idea that they're cutting themselves off from Christianity, like they're leaving Christianity behind, and this, that, and the other. When was that?
I got distracted because Facebook just sent me a damn message. When we was talking about what? When I was talking about what? I'm sorry.
Christianity, in Africa being, like them canceling.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that in the last show. I played a little clip about that. The guys were like burning the books. They was burning the Christian,
the Bible, yeah.
And they were like, no Islam, no Christianity. Africans got to, get back to their.
Well, I got a problem with that because I mean, Christianity began in Africa, and I think that based on like what we call I guess up to date or modern theology, the way that it's being taught might be a problem, but like the Bible itself, I don't think that's like, because I mean, when you're taught it properly, you don't, what I'm saying, it's not, you don't see it as a hindrance or a problem to you because it actually can uplift you. So I mean, I don't really see the Bible as the problem. I think that the way that we conceived it is more the problem than it itself. If we try to make everything literal in it, we're gonna find problem because it's it's gonna be conflicting ideas there. That's but when you see that these different stories are told so that you can understand different principles and learn different lessons based on these stories, and not trying to actually make what I'm saying, make one of these people you, or I don't know, like I've learned it in different ways and not well, I can't say I know it well enough to be able to teach somebody else, but the understanding that I got from it, especially when we talk about it esoterically and all of the alignments that cosmically, how it lines up, I think that those are different perspectives that I think we have to learn from, because I mean, this is a book that keeps giving. You can learn it as a child in the different stories and stuff, but then you got to get to more of the young adult and then like it's something that you can continue to learn from in different angles, so that whatever part of life you're in, you can find a way for it to benefit you. But I think that because of the way that it was colonized, because I mean, if the wrong mindset with any type of teaching can be harmful, because if you go into African spirituality and you have the wrong type of mindset, you end up in the same position.
Yeah. Well, I have to say though, like I feel like, you're right to a certain extent, but you're right because it's a combination of prior books, earlier stories that have been, compiled and in some cases changed up.
Well, You know, I think that to some extent it's a history book, but how far back in the history? I mean, you know, from if you listen to it from different people's perspective, like they talk about the prophecies in the Bible that they're saying that all of the prophecies were met before 70 AD. So if we're talking about something that was like totally written in BC times, and that was more specific to those times, and here we are 2,000 years ago, and we're still trying to make all of those things that they discussed then. Like, I mean, we're having a lot of like recycling traumas because we keep trying to fit ourselves into these.
I'm telling you, and that's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't even like to even go into it related to the scripture. It's because the more you get into it, the more you're gonna be mentally like freaking twisted, man. Like you're gonna be confused, and that's just how I feel about it. But I want to read the what we wrote on there, because the person asked what was Christ's energy, and my answer was this one. I said Christ's energy is the embodiment of the spirit of Christ, basically truly walking and living by certain principles, regardless of religion, like actually caring about the well-being of your neighbors, actually standing for truth even when it's not popular, protecting the weak and feeding the hungry, and actually fighting against a system that is not balanced.
I like that. I like that.
And this is what you said. You said Christ's energy is a universal energy available to anyone. The individuals is at one mint. Those
Atonement.
that have
atonement and at one mint.
Those that have learned to bridge divination into the physical actions of righteousness and love for all peoples. They use their powers to heal with the flow of universal energy, nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of those go hand in hand. I think both of those definitions work perfectly, because I mean, it's just I think it's all true. But yeah, man, that whole wouldn't be putting the hyphens in the middle. It was a play on the atonement and also being at oneness, or at one mint. But all right, I don't know. Some people might have got it, but anyhow, I was kind of proud of myself with that. But
oh yeah, this is good right here. This is what I was looking for. Go Black. Oh shit, what did I do?
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Go Black to Africa. So I'm out here in Eswatini, right? What is your name, brother?
Shamiso Sitele.
Shamiso.
Shamiso
Satebe. I like that. You got an African name. See, most people would have told me Joseph, Mark, or something like that, some European name. What does your name mean?
It means miracles.
It means what?
Miracles.
Miracles.
Yes, it's Shona from Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay. So I'm out here. Can you please tell a little about yourself? How old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
Oh, you young man. 25 years old. You got a daughter, 25. You work?
Yes, I do work.
Okay. What do you do?
I do. Okay, currently I'm hired at UTS. It's a company that installs HVAC and air conditioning systems.
Okay.
I do engineering.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that a good field to be in?
Yeah, you can say so.
Pays pretty good?
Not in our country.
Not in our country. Are you able to take care of a family?
I don't have a family yet, but it's for me to live.
It's for you to live. You can live off of it.
Yes.
But if you got married, you'd have to find something more,
yes.
give you more. Okay. Please tell the people what is something interesting about your country that they don't know.
Something that is interesting about Eswatini.
Yes.
I can say that something that is interesting is the humanity, that the people have.
Okay.
Yeah, the people have a lot of humanity. You know, you can't. How can I put it? You can't.
You are a Christian.
Yes.
You're a Christian. Okay. How long you been a Christian?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
How is it for you?
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I can say it's good. It's
Well-
very interesting.
Please share with us what's interesting about it.
The interesting part is Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Jesus?
You know, Jesus is the Savior. He saves us from our sin.
Okay.
You know, everyone, you know, the problem with the world, why the world is so dark, why in the world there is murder, why in the world there is Sodom, why there is so much sin, bad things, why so much bad things killing each other. It's because of sin.
Mhm.
So Jesus came more than 2,000 years ago to save mankind from sin. So he did that by dying on a cross, shedding his blood, and being buried and being resurrected from the dead on that day. So with that, that was the work of God in order for him to save mankind. It was God stretching forth his hand to mankind, saying, if you believe in Jesus and let him wash you with his blood and turn away from your sins, you will be saved from the wrath to come, because there is a wrath of God that is coming upon all those who live the way that they want to live. So the wrath of God is going to come upon them, and Jesus is the one that saves. And he does not only save, but he also gives you his life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he gives you his life.
Were you following him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus saves. 2,000
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, he died on the cross for our sins.
Yeah.
And he was resurrected from dead, and that was God stretching his hand. Yeah, when I heard him say that, I was like, man, if you let this play, I'm gonna play some more of this. Check it out. It really gets interesting. Watch. Because that's just what everybody says, but he's gonna flip it.
Jesus is very meek, he's gentle, and he gives you that meekness and gentleness.
Let me ask you this right here. Is Jesus God? Are you being taught Jesus is God?
Yes, he is God.
It is God. Okay. All right. And let me ask you, because I know I've traveled around the world and I see that, these pictures of Jesus.
That's not Jesus.
That's not Jesus.
Yes.
Okay. Who is that?
Those are okay. There's Jesus and the devil.
Yeah.
So the devil is trying by all means to oppose Jesus.
Yeah.
So those pictures, you find that they are demons.
They're demons.
They are just pictures for people to worship, because the Bible says in Exodus that you should not make an image.
Okay.
To worship an image. There are people in Nigeria.
This is look, I'm gonna tell.
He said you should not worship an image. The image are idols. And that's the very thing that they, say that the pagans do, and that's sacrilegious. But then they do the same thing. That's interesting, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, because one way or the other, even if you don't have, like, an image isn't just physical on a picture, on like a TV screen, or a portrait or whatever. Like, you can develop images within your mind. So when you hold an idol, it's like the way that you perceive something in your life. So it's not just about the physical image that you could see. It's also when you hold reverence of an idea, or like an idol. Let's just say, like, even if we never had a picture of Jesus, just the fact that we just singled him out, or that person out, to be above even yourself, is problematic. Now, I mean, having reverence for your parents, I think, is much better than, you know, trying something that you can't touch, see, smell, or, you know, like it's really an idea, and maybe, you know, placing yourself in that position, because I think that's, you know, really what was, you know, really wanted by, you know, anybody can be able to grab the power that this person called Jesus or Yahshua, or, you know, who this power that they held, you can hold it too. So I think anything outside of when you put yourself out, take yourself out of that, you're still idol worshiping. But
Well, some people would say that if you worship, you're worshiping yourself, and that's worshiping the idol.
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to worship yourself, but I mean, I would put, you know, myself, like, try to place myself there, or, you know, like, at least shoot for the stars for myself instead of giving, you know, praise to an idol, something that, like, something you can't see, touch, or smell. Like, I mean, it's I think, I mean, and this is, like, you know, this is just my opinion on it. I'm not, you know, claiming to be, you know, righter than somebody else, but this is just the way I see it. I mean, of course, I haven't always seen it this way. I was raised up like most people, you know, where, you know, I saw that picture, and, you know, I had the questions and this, that, and the other, and, you know, try to make sense of, oh, well, he's black. And I mean, even that, me trying to say he's black and putting that image in my mind, that was still a wrong idea, because, you know, they're trying to teach you a lesson about, you know, this Christ energy that you can, you know, each and every person can obtain.
Yep, that's what this dude's gonna say too. He says switching it to a black Jesus is still the same. Let me play it.
Tell you this right here, brother. Let me say this. You know more than the average Christian out here that I have spoken to, not just in this country, around the world. So it's good for you to know, number one, Jesus is not a color, right? As far as
he's a Jew.
He's a Jew.
He's not a white.
Is he white?
He's not white.
He's not white.
Jews are not white.
He's got color, right?
Yes, he does.
He's a Jew. Hold on, what church you go to? Because you know what? I mean, you know, most people worship this white man, and they worship like it's like this European. And I like what you said in Exodus, in the commandment. It says you should not bow down to any images, any graven thing. I like that. So you're saying that the Spirit of God was in this body that was letting people know to go back to God.
What?
I said you were saying basically, I'm just paraphrasing what you said, was that Jesus, the name Yeshua, is the actual Hebrew name. Okay, see, you already know, is God.
Yes,
that Spirit of God was in that body.
Yes, he was in Jesus.
Okay, all right. So now what were you affiliated with before you say you now got into the studies of following God? Where were you in before?
I was a drug addict.
Who?
A drug addict.
Oh, you was a drug addict.
Yes, I was a drug addict.
Ah, so you know coming from darkness.
Yes.
You came from darkness.
Yes.
Yeah. And you walk into a new teaching that brought light into your life.
Yes.
Yes.
Into life.
Into
not
life.
Teaching necessarily, but into Christ, because you know the gospel is Christ and Him crucified and Him buried and Him resurrected. So you know Jesus is the substance of the gospel. He is the meat of the gospel. So He is the one that liberates. I was not liberated by I can say men's teaching paths. I was liberated by Jesus Himself.
Let me ask you this right here.
So what I'll say about that is it's good. It can be good, you know. The whole thing is that when I was playing the Mesopotamian clips was to try to compare it all to present day. And it's like when we have something, you know, that we're having a hard time getting through, you know, maybe it doesn't make sense, you know, we find ways to, you know, deal with that. You know, like we justify things and we make it so it makes sense. We simplify it.
or easier to digest. Because I think that's one of the reasons why they wrote the Bible the way they did, because it's a writing style that they did with this Bible. So it's like you know what I'm saying, like they put it in perspective. Because I mean, there's many different ways to see it and perceive it, but the one when you're just reading, it's really putting all of these people out there is one of the ways that we learn better. Just like being like, what's that, hooked on phonics? Like when you sing something and like you kind of repetition, you can learn it faster. When you're able to relate it to a person, I think it becomes easier for you to understand. And then at that point, after you've done that, so it becomes easier for you to understand the meaning. When you hear it in a different perspective. So I mean, that's the way I look at it, because I don't really see any of it as really wrong, but I think that sometimes some of us are too old or should be more mature than to see it the way that some of us see it. So that's just. But
I want to read.
I guess that's me being judgmental.
I want to read a couple of the comments underneath it. It says, "Wow, thank you for this man's testimony and understanding the word of God." Another comment, it says, "Two very intelligent brothers having a deep conversation about the truth without egos getting in the way. Great post, my dear brother. Be blessed." Another comment, it says, "When you experience Christ from a first-person singular perspective and not by some outside prompting, but an inner compulsion, as beautifully explained by this brother, you are not caught in all that world drama." Another comment, "I love his testimony. It's beautiful. I pray he stays grounded. He stays grounded in the Lord for all eternity."
Well, I do want to point out that like the culture in which he lives in, I would say is a lot different than what we live. How we live, because a lot of the examples that I may have is that it was given to us under I guess trying to gain like under like a different what was I say, like, because I mean slavery and like the way it was handed down over the centuries that we've had it in our possession. I think because of the way it was taught to us then was to rob us of self. And I mean under the I think that the way he learned it gave him more of a different outlook from the beginning. Like it wasn't to steal from him. They actually trying to, the opposite, give him, some strength with it. So I think we all do learn it a different way, because I mean, overall, I think, I had to take some of those bumps and bruises with it for me to get to the understanding that I have now. And I'm still, I still learn. Like, I mean, there's different perspectives that I'm able to see even, new ways of looking at things even now. So, I'm not saying that I know it all, because I don't, but I think that a lot of us have been handicapped from, much more than even this guy being a drug addict and learning it just recently. But
I want to do another Go Black. Because I mentioned this in the comments. This is
shit.
My bad. But I'm trying to skip it. I'm not on point today.
We know that this world is just a devilish, evil place. But I want y'all to listen to this video as Kenya has exposed the demonic spirit of those who are forcing people to do things to animals in these Arab nations and countries that you wouldn't even believe. Watch the video and I'll be back.
Now, another video of a Kenyan woman crying for help after being forced to breastfeed 2 puppies has now gone viral as Kenyans, KOTU, and human rights groups altogether urge President William Ruto to ban all recruitment agencies operating in the country and repatriate Kenyans stuck in oil-rich Saudi Arabia. Willie Lusige with the details.
Charles Washira is a father experiencing great pain at the moment. On 7th of August this year, he was informed through a call by a stranger in Dubai that her daughter was sick. All along, he knew her daughter was an immigrant worker who had traveled to Saudi Arabia but not Dubai. She has been ailing for some time in Iraq, leaving her family in anguish back at home.
Wanajibu wake alisasa mimi hapa ndipo na wiki mbili tu na wiki mbili tayari naambiwa kazi yangu ya kunyonyesha mama.
And you can ask yourself, before she was given puppies to feed, to breastfeed, what happened to her before this? What, grueling experience she went through? What problems did she see?
She's crying for well-wishers and the government to intervene and bring her back to Kenya. She's one among hundreds of Kenyans and their families that have been crying for repatriation.
Even have others who have been arrested, prosecuted and jailed merely for raising complaints, for raising their concerns about how they're treated in those detention centers.
KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli is now asking President William Ruto to take action and ban all Kenyan recruitment agencies ferrying Kenyans to work in the Middle East countries where they are treated as slaves.
I've said time.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is the first time of me hearing, I heard, I saw this the other day about the whole, feeding puppies and this, that, and the other, but, I've never heard, I know that like in Saudi Arabia, it's not a new thing that of how they treat Black people. And, this is just this is something, like I said, I mean, the whole feeding animals, that's like a new thing, but the way that they treat Black people is not new. And it's just like, okay, like, and I know things that like it must be very hard in their country for them to deal with, but like they're sending their children to these countries where it's not, the people don't respect them at all. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what, what did they expect? At some point it was going to come to something. I mean, these people just don't have respect for, especially Africans. I mean, I don't, I haven't, I don't really know anybody from Saudi Arabia. They never, I can't say that how they treat Americans, Black Americans, but, I've heard stories before, like this is what they, like they can't, like, I mean, for a long time, they've talked about how they castrate Black men, so that they can be more feminized, so that they don't have to worry about them around their women or this, that, the third, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is something like 1950s stuff from here, or 1920s, 30s, or you know what I'm saying? Like they're still doing that kind of stuff current day over there.
Yeah, I think
like
the countries,
it never changed.
The governments should be strong enough to be able to, intervene in these kind of situations and be like, man, these are people,
But that's the thing, because I think that it's too many times that we are, we've put ourselves in a, and I'm including myself, because I mean, us as Black people around the world, a lot of times, put ourselves in a position thinking that we're less than, when we're more needed than we realize, and we take the subjugated stance when really we have more negotiating power than we've even imagined. And that's the only reason why that they take advantage of it, is because of taking that knee on, going into when you're negotiating, like you're almost taking a knee automatically. So it's just you know, it hurts my heart to even imagine a lot of these things that's going on. But at the same time, I think that you know, we got to do better. Like, I mean, we can't keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah, man. It's crazy. That's what he's finna say. Let me play a little bit.
But girls are brought back. What do you think? This is outrageous. This is ridiculous that how a country, these nations, can continue to listen to African countries talk about the evilness that is going on with those immigrants that are coming over to work. But Africa has to wake up and realize to tell their people, stop taking these jobs, going over to these countries when they care nothing about you. Why are you sending your people over to these countries? Why aren't you making way for them to do jobs that are in your own country? They ain't paying them nothing anyway. How is it that you can sit back and argue of the mistreatment of your people, but yet you can't argue against your own government of the mistreatment by how they are not supplying jobs to the people, how the corruption is killing the work industry? But this evilness that happens in these countries that I have shown before, please watch the end of this video and see those videos that I did, even of a African woman who was over in Dubai.
Oh yeah,
that
I'll
she
get
was
rid of it.
crying for her life. They took her.
What's that?
Hold on a second.
All right. Shit, man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm getting tired. I did work all day today. The Ron DeSantis, because he's gonna ask him, are you gonna jet out of the governorship after you? Because he's gonna run for president. Anyways, the other one was I wanted to talk about China a little bit, and then it was
Look, I mean, while we're on that last subject, I mean, what's like we have some examples of that's happening right here in America. Maybe not as far as to the, because I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm looking at like a lot of people got that, you know, subjugated mindset that, you know, they can't do anything. They, you know, everything's the same. You know, like politically, they can't do anything. But I'm like, well, you vote, right? My thing is like, don't do the same thing and expect, do the same thing and expecting different results. You know, sometimes you got to put it on the line. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, I feel like it's crunch time, and if we don't do the right things now, can change everything for us going into the future. I mean, if we thought that slavery was bad, the past slavery was bad, just imagine when we got robots telling us what the hell to do, and they don't have any kind of remorse for us. So, but I guess that's me and how I've been looking at it, because I mean, that's really what they want to do. They want to have robot police us at some point in time. They want all of the electric cars so that, if they want to shut us down any moment, they can, because that gives them more control and power, even though the ones that are the ones who are the minority in the world. So it's, if we don't get it together, like, we're going to be looking at some of the same things that these people are looking at over in Kenya, if not worse.
Yeah.
You'll be glad to put a puppy on your nipple at some point. I don't think people really are close to, like, with the wrong decisions, trusting in the wrong people. That's supposed to be our leaders, our political, the people that work for us, but we're hiring them to continue doing the same bullshit that they've been doing. Like that just ain't it. But,
I don't want no puppies on my nipples.
well, I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't.
that's a bit
That sound like that hurt.
Yeah, it's a bit extreme, but I think sometimes, you know, people have to look at, like, this is stuff that's happening right now. Like, you know, people, like, if it could happen to them under the wrong, you know, because, like, just think about the kind of government that they're living in and how it got there. Like, you think it just happened overnight? You know, like all of the things that they trusted in these people, and then before they knew it, they had no power, no control. Like, Americans really think that it's impossible for that to happen here. But, you know, one of the things that drives me and to try to keep me doing things that can improve, or to at least hope to improve, because I feel like, you know, it's a lot of times an uphill battle with our people, because they're too afraid to just step up and speak up for themselves, because, you know, it's like, it's almost like you know what, people still mad at Kanye for saying that slavery is a choice, but people right now today is still choosing slavery. And they don't see it.
Yeah. Kanye.
I'm just saying, but he's a great example. Like, I mean, to some extent, that's like somewhat of a prophecy. Like, he's saying that, you know, he's saying it about the past, but it's also, people right now have a choice, and they're choosing, you know, like the opposite of empowerment for themselves. Like, they're willing to give it all away. Like, I mean, I get angry with the baby boomers, because, like, you know, they're, you know, a lot of them have just given up, and now, like, everything that we say that we're trying to fight for, like, a lot of people's like, oh no, that'll never happen, and this, you know, like, bro, yeah, you feel like that because you know, the mindset you had, but don't, you know, weaken everybody else mentally because you didn't have the courage to step up and do something. And I think, like, the generations coming after us are going to be even more, you know, like, bro, like, they're more willing to fight for this stuff more than, you know, even us. I mean, if you look at their mentality, like the young people coming up behind us, like they ain't really for the foolishness. Like, and they really want to see some action. But, like, there's no way I'm gonna tell my son that I was, like, you know what, you know, or for him to even assume that I was just too much of a bitch to do anything to protect his right of freedom. Like, I'm gonna just give it all up because I'm too scared to say something about, you know, what's really ours. Like, we give them the power to act, but I'm not gonna reprimand or, you know, punish them by not letting them back in office. Like, you keep voting the same people in that promise you this and that, whatever, and as soon as they get in office, they say screw you. I mean, these are the people that you continue to support.
Yep.
That's bitch acidness to me. It's not smart.
Yeah. At this point, I think a lot of people don't feel voting at all is gonna accomplish anything.
Okay, so what does? Let's have that conversation. What does fix it? I mean, they talk shit about the people who went down there January 6th people. that, you know, like they was willing to fight for what they thought was right. What the hell we gonna do? We gonna take some kind of stance, or we just gonna? I mean, what's the solution? What?
Well, we know that we can't rely on the government, so therefore we have to build our own institutions, our own freaking, bring the community together and build what we need to provide for ourselves. Do it ourselves.
Well, I mean, based on what I know about the United States, is that it's supposed to be a democratic republic. Democratic republic, which laws are governed. The laws govern the people, and if there's laws that they can change and create to, you know, keep you from doing this or that, like they still got control, and they can kidnap you, put you in prison because, you know, you're not following the law. So until you separate yourself from that, like that's not a good, you know, just go, you know, creating some new stuff, you know, unless it's you talking about your own government, then you ain't talking about nothing.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah, doing it on your own, like despite them, their only power is the power that we give them. So if we ignore them, they won't have no power.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I do like I talk shit about Tariq Nasheed, but I do give him props for what he's doing in government, and you know, some of the things that he's talking about. Because I mean, you know, we do need certain protections. We do need our own police force. You know, we do need funding for, you know, so that we can do this, that, and the third. But at the same time, there's people out here that he shits on that's actually, you know, legally doing it right, the right way, separating from them, and you know, saying pretty much to hell with, you know, we don't need your reparations, we don't need this with none of that. Like we really just need each other to come together. But there's too many people that's looking at trying to get it done the easy way, which is pretty much, you know, pretty much doing nothing, sitting back waiting for somebody to, you know, hand you something and say, oh, here you go. But I just don't.
And I'm saying that about building the communities, but at the same time, you know, I'm still into politics, and at the same time, whatever they decide on federal levels are going to affect you locally. So, but I'm saying that people should just focus on their local community and try to build things there, you know, make your community better. And then if people can do that in all the different communities around, then that's how it works. But like I say, you're still gonna have a federal government that's gonna.
Well, because that's the federal constitution trumps all of the others.
Yeah. So then, you know, a certain amount of involvement in the government, but I think that it just needs to change. We need to change it somehow. It needs a dramatic change.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, because I get a little passionate from time to time, because I mean, might seem like I'm, you know, biting at you or growling at you or whatever, but it's just like it gets frustrating because things that are so clearly to see, there's just like people are just missing it. Like they just totally like they, I don't know, like people really feel hopeless in a lot of cases. And it's like, it's us that makes all this stuff go round. Like, I mean, people, you know, and just, you know, people that's upset or think that, oh, Kanye's a failure because he's losing these contracts and this, that, and the other. Like, without Kanye, a lot of those people didn't have anything. And that's how we have to look at ourselves right now, like Kanye. Like, without us, they have nothing. That's like really how we have to start looking at everything that's going on. Like, we are the heartbeat of this country, like the culture. Like, without us, there is no culture. Like, I mean, really, we really have to, you know, learn to to appreciate ourselves more. Like, I mean, we talking about people that was in slavery that that or had recently come out of slavery that did some of the biggest things and in small circles. So just imagine if like we really like put things together. Like I mean, shit. We need more people to just run for office. Or like let's get inside the middle and control things. You know, right? Like I don't know, man. We got allies, but I think that because we showing so much weakness, like they like, nah, I can't get with that. Like there's like I was talking with this Spanish guy, this Mexican. I don't know if to say he was really Mexican or whatever, but I was speaking with him the other day, and he's like, look, I mean, you know, he's telling me himself that he's one of us. It's like his history goes back to, you know, he didn't say it well, however you pronounce it, but like his blood is, and that's what he feels the closest to. You know what I'm saying? Is that, you know, that bloodline or whatever. But we have people that will like overlook that, where, you know what I'm saying, but we have to show some strength for people to be like, okay, see, now I can get down with it, because, you know what I'm saying, you know, they ain't just gonna sit there and let it, you know, like get taken over, and, you know, they don't want to get taken over with you, you know what I'm saying, but if you show some strength, man, and then you're fair with them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't trying to just, you know, take everything for yourself. Like you actually just fair with the people. Man, I don't know. Everybody's not against us like people think.
Yeah.
They actually want to see us in a better position. But, you know, if you on some sucker shit, you just ain't like, nobody wants to be, you know, gonna take a sucker stance with you.
And if you got that victim mentality, then you're gonna continue to be a victim.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap it because I got class in the morning, and I really didn't realize I was on this long.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's only 2 hours, but
yeah, no, I mean, I look, I didn't want to say it, but I really didn't want to, you know, I was gonna try to hang with you as much as possible, but shit, I got a long day tomorrow too, you know.
Yeah, I got class in the morning, and it's gonna be hard for me to get up. I already know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, that's cool, bro. You know, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe Deuce will pop in and we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a better show tomorrow. I was just trying a different setup and stuff. So.
Yeah, and I apologize too, man. I went in the store to had somebody's like, come order some. We're gonna buy you food. I'm like, I don't, you know, like it went through all kind of little crap, and I felt like I kind of interrupted the show a couple of times. So I apologize for that. But
it's all good. Yeah, man. Shit, we'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. I'm gonna try to get
peace
some
and
rest.
love.
All right.
10-4.
All right, bro.